Jake Poole with DEO and DSO Secrets. I'm welcoming here Dr. Samson Liu, who is one of my favorite people in the whole industry. Dr. Liu, welcome to just a quick little live video for the group. How are you doing?
Good, good. Thanks for having me. I'm honored. Thanks, Jake.
Awesome. So we're here to talk about your upcoming DEO virtual summit talk. So you spoke way back in 2019, if you remember, last November, which is literally decades ago in our brains. And you talked about your story, and then we're going to have you come back here in a couple of months and talk about the follow-up, what you've been up to and how you've built some systems, people in the financial aspects of your business. But for those who weren't in there in November, can you give yourself an introduction and kind of what you've accomplished in the past few years?
Sure. So thanks for that introduction, Jake. So this is my first time on Facebook Live. I think this is pretty cool. And I don't even know people go live on Facebook. So that's awesome. So for those who don't know me, I was with Heartland for almost 18 years before I left in 2017. So in 2017, the end of 2017, the beginning of 2018, I started my own group practice called Soul Dental, or SOH Dental. And I grew rapidly. I went from 0 to 27 practices in the first 12 months or so. And I do not have private equity backing my company, my group. So I think Jake was interested, when I first met him, because how do you do that? How'd you go from 0 to 27, and I've never even owned my own practice until I started in 2018. And so I shared my story last year at the DEO meeting, which was eons ago. And I wasn't all about my successes. It was mostly about my failures. So Jake said I was hilarious. It's because you can only laugh at yourself when you make so many mistakes and then you look back at them. And that's what I did. And I hope to share some of those successes and failures in the upcoming, virtual event with you guys in November. So that's my plan.
Awesome. So yes, it was an incredible talk, and I'm really looking forward to this coming November. So what have you been up to since last November, Dr. Liu? I mean, lots happened.
So
what about for you?
A lot had happened until coronavirus in March, and I was on a ski trip that got canceled 22 minutes after I landed at the ski trip. So that was very exciting. And so basically I didn't do a lot, on the outside, but on the inside, just like everybody else. And I'm not going to repeat what everybody else have probably know already, that, it was a tough time, it was stressful. And we're very blessed to be in an industry where there's a relatively quick rebound. And so it's the same way with my company. And basically the two themes that I adopted the last 6 to 9 months was people first, and then we're close to renovations. So we focus on things what we can do to improve, how to become better and stronger, how do you lower the cost overhead? And then we also focus on people first. And what do people need? How do we reinvest into the practices and the people? And so that's what we did in the last 6 to 9 months. And we definitely have grown, even during this pandemic from 2019 to 2020, we're expecting almost a 20% year-over-year increase despite the coronavirus. And we also partnered with 2 more practices and 2 more coming down before the end of the year. So we're very lucky that, we were interrupted, but we came out stronger, and so very blessed to do so.
Yeah, so you doubled down on your people. Yeah, just kind of curious how that went and in anything specific that you did there. I think it's a great lesson for people. When things got tough, you went double, developing and supporting your team.
Yep, because one of the things that a lot of people do is, when you have tough times, people stick together, and there's a lot of stories, that, hey, how do people stick together? How do people step up? And we're lucky, we have people that step up and there are people that step out, and it's kind of a natural selection process. And, a crisis kind of, make it obvious to everybody else. The biggest thing to me is it made it easy for us to do the right thing because of the pandemic. It made it easy for us to make the best decisions for our doctors, for our teams, and for our families. So for us, if there was something that wasn't going to be in the best interest of the practice, for the long-term sustainability of the practice, we can make a decision. And that decision, no matter how tough it is the right call. And so it was easy for us to make the right decisions in the last 6 to 9 months. And we made a lot of really good decisions. And it was a stress test for dental practice, basically. And we're lucky that we kind of surpassed that, and we're coming out even stronger. So to me, we count the blessings of what the good and bad things, and we like to focus on the good things that happened to us in the last 6 to 9 months.
Yeah, no, that's an amazing story, and yeah, that is just a testament to kind of how I think you do business, which is interesting because you are known for scaling very quickly, and you do it a lot through surrounding yourself with really amazing people and supporting them and doing it more. And I think that exactly what you said, there amongst the unclarity of the crisis, it became very, very clear the few important things, and it sounds like that's what your team dialed in on.
Yeah, it is good, and luckily everybody else, the A players stay behind. And so one of the books that I recommended reading last year was the A player, how the Who book, which is about hiring and retaining A players. So it was really good for us to really look at we look at people first, but not about just what is best for us, but it's what's best for the long term. The next 100 years. If we want the practice to stick around for 100 years, what kind of people do we need in that practice from a doctor perspective, from a team perspective, from a support center perspective? Who's going to be around for 100 years? And what do we need to do for them, for the 100 years? And so that's how we look at the people first philosophy in the last 6 to 9 months. And then in the meantime, as we're growing, we're scaling, we try to grow and scale responsibly. And I think the crisis has put a light on that. There are companies that will, hire the people first before you buy the practices. And then there are people that will buy the practices and then hire the people. And we tend to do the latter, where we add the practices, then we go back and backfill on what we need, not making sure we plan it out and not over support or over hire. And so it would just, so they really make us to be more responsible when we do that.
So we have you on the schedule coming November. For those of you that are thinking about signing up, that Dr. Liu, your talk is being included for the folks that sign up. So you can catch up on Dr. Liu's first part of his Junior Zero to 27 locations in 1 year, which is 100% true. And it just sounds so unbelievable, but you did it, and you talked about how you did it. And then we're going to talk about how you've been able to grow through this, through your people and through systems and through finance. So any final words for folks that are thinking about coming to hang out with us in the November summit?
I think it's exciting. DEO has always been very supportive of groups, and I personally benefited a lot from my participation in DEO and getting to know Jake. And it was a learning experience for me, even though I spoke last year, but I learned more from talking to people before and after my speech. So I encourage everybody to do the same. Make sure you show up, sign up, listen, and interact with other people, other participants. And I would definitely be available to talk afterwards if that's allowed. I wasn't sure this is going to be my first time doing it, but I'd be happy to share, my mistakes. I love to share my mistakes because I don't want people to lose hope after the pandemic, because there's a lot of opportunities in this industry and a lot of opportunities for people that want to follow their dreams of opening on their own groups. So thanks for that, Jake.
Amazing. Very excited. Can't wait to have you, Dr. Liu, host you for the event. So sign up, everyone, if you're not yet, and we'll get you Dr. Liu's previous talk, and we will see you in November. Thanks so much.
All right. Thank you. Thanks. Bye, everybody.